Have a great enjoy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heidi from Loran Oils. With me today is Ansley, our amazing graphic design artist, and Mandy, our marketing communications manager. She's going to be moderating. So like Felicia said, if you have any questions along the way, please drop them in the comments and we'll get those answered for you. So today we're going to be making two-tone sour gummy bears using Loran's amazing gummy mix, super strength flavors, and our tart and sour flavor enhancer. So before we get started, I'm going to go through all of our equipment that we're going to need. If you want to go top down on the camera, you're going to need a heavy bottom pan for sure. We're going to be working with sugar and cooking it. So we want to make sure that bottom of the pan is nice and heavy to keep that sugar from burning. You're also going to need a stove or some sort of portable induction like we have here. You're going to need the gummy mix. You're going to need a bowl of very cold water. We have 3/4 cup of water in here. I like working with a shallow dish, and we're going to explain why in just a few minutes. We want a touch of coconut oil, a pastry brush, and a little bit of water. And then we have our gel colors, our tart and sour flavor enhancer. And then we've got two flavors since we're making layered gummies. We've got our lemon super strength and our strawberry super strength. These are super concentrated. We like to go with the fruity flavors with the gummy mix because there is a little bit of citric acid. So something like butterscotch or butter rum is not going to come out quite as well. We're also going to need some forks, 2 measuring cups with a capacity of at least 1 cup each. Some cute silicone molds in droppers. You're going to need about 6 molds. You can use any style you like, but these style right here and the droppers can also be purchased at Michael's. Measuring spoons, spoons for stirring, cookie sheets to transfer the molds to the refrigerator very easily. For drying your gummies, we like to use wax paper and to store some sort of Ziploc bag or airtight container. So to get started, we are going to move this burner out of the way really quick. And Ansley hasn't made the gummies before, so you're going to be learning right along with her. So we're going to take our gummy mix. Inside this pouch, there is a gelatin packet, and you're going to want to bloom this for at least 5 minutes in this cold water. And so be careful when you pull the gelatin pack out. There's a little bit of powder that sticks to it. So the easiest way to get the gelatin to properly bloom is by sprinkling it over just lightly and letting that gelatin drop into the water as you go. You just kind of let that sink in for a few minutes. So go ahead and finish emptying that pack, Ansley, and just let it drop in. And then we're going to fork the rest of it in there to make sure it's totally saturated. The bloom of this gelatin is a 250 and it's a bovine gelatin. It's a really high quality, so it produces a really nice candy with great consistency. So I'll just keep forking while you pour that in. We want to make sure all of those light patches are gone and that this is fully hydrated. That'll give you the best consistency candy. So go ahead and keep dumping that in there. Good job. And working all of that in. It likes to sit on the side. And the reason that I like this shallow dish is because it's a lot easier to make sure everything's hydrated. If you used a deeper bowl, it's kind of hard. The first bit of gelatin you mix will sink right to the bottom and soak up all the water. And it's hard to get the rest of it totally saturated. So you can see there's a little bit of water on the edge here. So you just kind of want to fold that in and fork the rest of that gelatin. And we got a little bit more, it looks like. Yep, go ahead and dump the rest of that in there. And then we can finish forking. And again, we want this to bloom for at least 5 minutes so we know all of the gelatin is completely hydrated. So get in there and get all of those lighter bits taken care of. You can see on the side, it's still a little bit light, which means it has the most water in. So just drop that into the center where there's lighter pieces and continue to work that in. All right, Mandy, where are people tuning in from?
Yeah, we got
Tina here from Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, nice.
Yeah, and everyone, if you join on later, please in the comments share with us where you are tuning in from. We also have Lindsay here from Buffalo, New York. Hi, Lindsay.
All right, so we're gonna bring our burner back in and we're gonna turn this on and get the water heated up. And then we're gonna pour our sugar mix into this. I like to get the water hot before because it's gonna break down the sugar a lot faster than starting with cold water. We have a 1/4 cup of water in here. And so we're gonna bump this up just a little bit. This mix, like I said, it has sugar, it has corn syrup solids in here, and a little bit of citric acid to make those fruity flavors pop. So the easiest way to do this is by stirring in it, just like we did with the gelatin. We're just gonna add a little bit to the pan at first, and then we're gonna work it into the pan with a spatula. Avoid splashing it up on the sides of the pan, but if you do, that's okay. We've got a solution for getting those sugar crystals back into the mix. You'll notice that it is a really small amount of water to be dissolving this much of the sugar mix, but don't be tempted to add more water. The reason that we have a really low amount of water in this candy is because we want it to have a really nice consistency. We want it to be firm. We don't want it to be like Jell-O. So we're gonna just start by sprinkling a little bit in here, and then we're gonna mix it in. And you don't want to bring this to a boil. You just want to keep the heat on low and just keep working small amounts of the sugar in. And you'll see as it's dissolving, you can add a little bit more in. It's a whole lot easier than dumping the whole pouch in and trying to work it into a 1/4 cup of water. This candy mix produces about 2 cups of liquid. So you're gonna end up with like about 1.5 pounds of candy. And then we can use any of the fruity flavors that you want for this. We're gonna do strawberry lemon today for a strawberry lemonade themed gummy. But there's tons of really other great options. There's green apple, watermelon, orange. What's your favorite flavor?
Ooh, I would definitely have to say the watermelon.
Yep, the watermelon is really good. What about you, Mandy?
Oh, lemon oil all the way.
Lemon is good.
And key lime is another.
The key lime is another great flavor. So we're just going to continue to work this in. You'll see that it's melting down pretty quickly, which is nice. Again, it's a lot easier to do it a little bit by a little bit rather than dumping that whole bag in there. So go ahead and add a little bit more. This activity is really fun to do with little ones if you got them in the house, but for this part, working with the high temperature, stick to an adult having do this part. Once you get to the flavoring and coloring, then you can have the little ones join in, and that'll be fun for them to fill the little molds and mix the color into it. I like making these with my little nephew. We always come up with odd flavor combinations and try to gross each other out. Go ahead and add a little bit more. All right. Do we have any questions so far?
It doesn't look like we have any questions. I have one about how are we going to make these sour?
Sure, that's a good question. So we have a couple products that you can use for this, but today we're going to be using the Tart Sour flavor enhancer. It's a liquid. It's a blend of citric acid, malic acid, and sodium citrate. And it adds a really nice like candy sour element that's pretty similar to like what you would expect from professional candy makers. I like it. We kind of compare it to like that Jolly Rancher flavor. It just makes those fruity flavors pop. There is a little bit of citric acid already in the mix, but if we do a little bit of the Tart Sour, it really amps that up and gives that sour gummy flavor. It's really good. If you've got kids in the house, they'll definitely love the sour stuff. I definitely was a big fan of like the atomic or what was the warheads and things like that when I was younger. Those were always really good. So this is starting to bubble. I don't want it to boil just yet, so I'm going to turn down the heat, but I'm going to continue to mix all of this in. For these clumps right here, just press those down into the bottom of the pan, and that helps that dissolve really well. Just keep working that down. It's really mostly the corn syrup solids that get hardened. And we're almost done with the powder. Go ahead and add the rest of it. All right, and we'll mix that in. So we're going to be working with the super strength flavors, and Lorianne, if you're not familiar with the company, we have several different product lines that are really amazing. Super strength flavors are synonymous with candy making, and the reason that is do you want to go ahead and continue just do that? The reason that is that there are the concentration, you don't end up adding so much liquid into your batch. If you're making something like a buttercream frosting, hard candy, taffy, fudge, something where you need to keep your liquid level down, the super strength is the way to go. They're 3 to 4 times stronger than an extract, so you really don't need to add a lot to get a lot of big flavor. Our other line that is available at Michael's is our bakery emulsions. We don't recommend those for candy making because they're not quite as strong. They're right on par with the strength of an extract. So if you think about your vanilla extract or almond extract, they're right up there. So you're going to be measuring teaspoon to teaspoon for those. So if you've got a favorite recipe that you'd like to kind of switch things up on, reach for those bakery emulsions and swap in those flavors. Those are really good. And fun fact, Mandy and Ansley dressed up as bakery emulsions last Halloween, and they won the company contest. So that was pretty awesome. We were coffee and pistachio.
Yes.
They were good costumes. That's really awesome.
They were pretty fun.
Yeah, we have Iris here from Lansing, Michigan, and her favorite flavor is blue raspberry, and she loves that now we offer it now in the smaller dram bottles.
Yes, blue raspberries have been a flavor that people have been requesting for years, and we finally have it, and it's definitely a good one, and it's definitely a good one for gummies, I think, or any kind of candy. It's definitely a nostalgic flavor. And remember Blue Blow Pops as a kid? Yes. Those are always a fan favorite.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've already mentioned it. Did you explain what a dram size is?
Yes, so that's a great question. So this is a dram. There's two per twin pack, and they measure about 1 teaspoon. So for this candy mix, we are going to need 1 teaspoon of flavor. You could go to 1.5 teaspoons of flavor. So one of these packs will be plenty for this mix. If you want to do one whole package, since we're going to be breaking this up into 2 equal parts so we can make layered gummy bears and worms, you're only going to need 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon of each flavor. So how's that coming along?
It's looking pretty good, I think.
All right, are we almost ready for the gelatin?
I'd say so.
All right, all of those corn syrup solids are all broken down. It doesn't look like we have any chunks left, but what we want to make sure is that we've got all of the sugar washed off the sides of the pan. When you're making candy, you definitely don't want any of that sugar reincorporated into your batch because it's going to recrystallize and it's going to hurt the shelf life of your candy. So we're just going to take a wet brush and we're going to go around the sides of the pan, and we're just going to wash all of that sugar back into the batch, and that'll make sure that nothing gets reincorporated and our candy turns out the way we hope it to. So if you want to go around and finish that up, just get around the sides of the pan and wash it in there. Easy. All right. That's looking good.
That's looking really good. I'm excited.
All right. And we're almost ready to add the gelatin. There's a couple ways that we can do that. And one is by dropping the whole brick of gelatin into the pan as is and letting that melt down. if you're blooming your gelatin in a heat safe pan, you can gently warm that up in the microwave to melt that gelatin down and turn it into a liquid before pouring it in. I am going to show you the longer way by dropping that into the pan right now, just so you can kind of see how long it takes to melt down. So we're going to be really careful about doing that because that's hot sugar. And you're going to want to turn the heat down at this point too. We don't need it to be cooking anymore, but I am going to keep it on the burner so we have the residual heat that's going to help melt that gelatin down into a liquid. We did bloom it with very cold water, so it is going to drop the temperature of the sugar right away. So that residual heat will make sure that everything is getting melted, because we need all of that gelatin to be nice and melted into the batch. So each piece has the correct ratio and all of the candy has a consistent texture. And the texture of these is really nice. It's firm, but not too firm. I know a lot of complaints about gummy recipes is that they're more like a tough Jell-O jiggler, but that's not the case with these. These are like the gummies. These are really comparable to gummies that you would buy at a store. And with the super strength flavors and all of the options that you have with those flavoring ingredients, you can really come up with some interesting combinations. Like I said, we're doing, you can go ahead and work the rest of that in there. We're doing lemon and strawberry today for a strawberry lemonade feel, but there's some really fun combinations. Michael's also carries our sparkling wine in a 1 ounce bottle, and that's a really fun one to add. You could do a sparkling wine with strawberry or lemon, cherry, watermelon, grape, green apple, and sparkling wine would be another really good combination.
Pretty good.
All right, so it looks like we've got all of that melted down nice. So now we need to let this rest. You'll see that there's a lot of foam at the top of this pan, and we want to make sure that we get all of this foam out of the batch before we pour into our molds. And the reason that is because that foam is eventually going to work its way up into each piece of the candy. And if you want a nice clear piece of candy, like what we have here with our finished pieces, we want to make sure we get all of that foam off. It's hard to get every last bit off, so we've got a couple tricks for bypassing that once you're filling and dispensing with the droppers, so you end up with a nice piece of candy. So we're just going to give that a couple minutes to rise to the top, and then we're going to use our big spoon, and then we have a discard plate, which makes this a lot easier. I find that if you use a smaller spoon to do this, it takes quite a bit longer, but with this, it's kind of like a pool skimmer. You can start at one end and work your way. You can kind of push everything to the side of the pan and then just remove everything. I know some people try to stir that foam back into the batch, but it's inevitably going to rise to the top again, so you want to make sure you're getting rid of as much of it as possible. So I think we are probably, let's give that a couple more minutes. Are there any questions, or is anybody else tuned in from any place interesting?
Yeah, we had Mabel here asking if we do teach more candy making, gummy classes, and I went ahead and shared her some of our landing page links for our Sweet Made Simple guide.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to the possibility of teaching more classes with Michael's, but we certainly have a lot of great resources at loreannoils.com. So if you're a candy maker, we would love to see what you make. You can follow us at Lorean Global and at Michael's Stores on Instagram, and use the hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels and hashtag Michael's Classes, so we can see all of the amazing things that you're making. And so, all right, so now we're in a good place with this. Now you can see it's kind of peeling off the top there, and we're just going to push all of this foam to the side, and then we're going to scoop it off. We don't want to go too deep with the spoon because we don't want to get all of the gelatin, like the actual syrup and gelatin. We just want to get rid of this stuff right here. It kind of seems awkward to do it at first, but once you do it a couple times, you'll be a pro at it. So Ansley, I'll hand it over to you so you can become a candy master. That's what we like to hear. All right, and then while you're doing that, I'll get our molds ready. One thing that I like to do is I like to put these molds onto a cookie sheet, which I'll show you when we can get the burner out of the way. And the reason I like to put them all on a cookie sheet is because I'm going to transport these to the refrigerator to set up afterwards. And with the molds being very flexible, it just makes it a lot easier. It makes it so I'm not spilling everything and making a mess. So I'm just going to prep our sheet. And I'm going to get some of this other stuff that we've used out of the way. And while we're waiting for the rest of that to be skimmed off, I'm going to say hi to all of our friends at Loran Oils that are working in the office. Christina, Iris, Shelby, Bethany, Shannon, who else? Kelly. Who else is there? Robin is there today. Emily is at home working. We just got back from a really big show in Vegas. So everybody's catching up on rest and work. Paul, Troy, and anybody else that's tuning in from the office. We're in production. Hello.
We're an awesome group of people, and we're family owned and operated, and we're celebrating Loran's 60th anniversary this year. So it's been really exciting. And as you can see, Heidi and Ansley are wearing our Loran's 60th anniversary shirt with our mascot, Sam the Dram, and he's repping it up in a cool, groovy way to celebrate our 60s theme for the 60th anniversary.
Yep, we had a pretty good party celebrating that, and it's been really fun to see all of the products that have been created just since I started working there in 2017. We're always innovating and coming up with new products, new flavors, so it's really exciting to see the growth and all of the new flavor options that you can use to make everything that you make taste amazing.
And for more recipes and learning more about Loran products, candy making tips, be sure to check out Loran Global on Instagram and also our Facebook page. You can find us at Loran Oils there. And we post a lot of great content. Ansley and Christina had created some really cool social media posts for us, and love to see their content. It's always interesting in videos. And also feel free to share with us any of your candy making videos or photos or bakery photos too that you've done. We love sharing, you guys. And feel free, send us a DM after this and tell us that you enjoyed watching the show, and we'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you're making in the kitchen.
Yeah, we were just all at IBIE, the International Baking Industry Expo out in Las Vegas, and it's always amazing and fun to see what people are coming up with. There are so many creative cake makers and cookie makers, and I love seeing the flavor combinations that people come up with, how people are decorating their cakes, the color combinations that people are using. There's so many awesome things that people are doing, and really dressing up the dessert table. It was a fun show, and I'm glad we all got to go out there and see some new stuff.
And speaking about color, because we all know color and fun, bright pops of color in your baked goods and candy is a must. So what types of food color are we going to be using today to color these gummies?
So we're going to go with a liquid gel color. It is the most potent of all of the colors that we've got, and they have really nice bright pigments. So I like to use these in the gummies because, as you can see in this pan, maybe you can see a little bit better there. It is a little bit of a dark yellow from the gelatin. So we want to cut through that color by using some bold bold colors. So we're gonna go with red and yellow for the strawberry and the lemonade. And we're gonna divide this batch up right now. So this is gonna make about 2 cups of syrup. So I'm gonna divide these evenly and then we're gonna flavor and color them. So maybe you can see it better now that it's being poured into the Pyrex cup that it is quite yellow. So we wanna make sure that we're coloring it beyond that shade. So there we go, we're about even. And Ansley, I'll let you pick your flavor and then I'll take the other one.
I'll do lemon.
All right, I'll take strawberry. So we want to do, for dividing these up, we can do a 1/2 teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon to flavor. You don't want to go beyond that. If you're adding too much flavoring into gummies, hard candy, or any type of recipe, you can get to a point where the flavor is going to become bitter because it's so concentrated. So you really want to use these sparingly. So I'm going to go with 3/4 teaspoon of the strawberry flavoring.
Should I do the same?
Yeah, go ahead. We all like lemon here. So we're going to add the flavor. And then for the secret ingredient of these sour 2-tone gummies is we're going to go with the Tart Sour. Again, this is a flavor enhancer. It's a blend of citric acid, sodium citrate, and malic acid. And it ends up adding like a really nice complex sour note. And I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, wait, let me take the little cap off here. And yeah, it smells so good. It smells like strawberry lemonade in here. I wish there was smell vision for Zoom meetings because it's pretty great. So go ahead and add that to yours, about 1/2. Yeah, so 2 of those. And then I have the strawberry, so I'm going to add just a couple drops of red food coloring. This is really concentrated if you're working with a gel. Did I not take it? The safety seals. So I'm just gonna add a couple drops. That's all we really need. And then we're gonna give these a couple good stirs and get all of that nice and blended. You see that there's just for that little bit of color, it really was enough to do this whole batch. That does smell really good. It
smells really good.
We just eat it like soup.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got our syrups done and we are ready to put these in the mold. So we're going to make 2 tones. So for the bare molds, these are nice and deep. And so we're going to be able to get a layered gummy like this. If you can see that, hopefully, you can see that there's lemon on the top and strawberry on the bottom. So they're nice and deep. We're just going to, actually, since we're going to put these in the refrigerator, I'll put these on a small pan first and we'll work with the bears. So let's get the worms out of the way for a minute. So we'll take our droppers and we're going to fill each of these cavities halfway. And then once we fill these up, we're going to sit them into the refrigerator to set up so we can add the other flavor and color. And they're not going to combine. They'll stay nice and separated so you can see the difference in color. So these droppers are super handy to work with. They make filling these a lot easier. You can work pretty fast. And again, if you have little ones in the house, this is the perfect time for them to get involved. It's kind of like playing Operation. You have to be careful, but there's no real danger anymore. The heat source is gone. The syrup is warm, but if you're being careful, everything's going to be fine.
It smells amazing in here. I can smell it all the way over here.
I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing.
Yeah, I was making our test batch this morning and I went home at lunch and my kitchen still smells like fruit. It's pretty great. So good. But that's life at L'Oreal. You always smell like either bubble gum or cherry or one of the other great flavors, depending on what production is pouring.
Cotton candy.
Yep, cotton candy day is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and Felicia, as you guys can see here in the chat, is listing all the item numbers of what we're using here today. So feel free to save those links so that you can also purchase these wonderful flavors and make your candies smell and taste just as good like we are right now over here.
All right, so we put the bears in the refrigerator. We're gonna allow those to set up and we're gonna get to our worms. So this is gonna be a tag team effort because we're gonna make these the two different flavors. You can see what we did here. So I'm gonna have Ansley start at one end of the cavity and I'm gonna start at the other, and we're gonna work ourselves and meet in the middle. So go ahead and start there and just pour and then move on to the next one. So this will be teamwork for the kids. Everybody's gonna be,
synchronized.
yes.
So synchronized. Oops, spilled something there.
Fill that up a little bit more. If you get these little air bubbles, you can take a little toothpick and pop them so you can keep the candy nice and smooth. If you're not pouring fast enough, you can gently warm these up in the microwave. You don't want to crank the heat too much so they burn. But you can melt these down, which is really nice. With hard candy, you can't really do that, but with the gummy mix, if you're not pouring fast enough, you can warm it up so you can make it easier for yourself to pour. So you can see this is going pretty fast and it does make quite a bit of candy, which is nice. You're definitely getting, there's enough to share, that's for sure. So we'll just keep working here.
We did get a question come through.
Okay.
Is this recipe easy for beginners?
Yeah, what do you think? This is the first time you're making it. What do you think? Are you going to do it again?
Yes, absolutely. This is a very easy recipe for anybody to make.
The instructions are on the back of the pouch, and you'll have this video posted. I believe Felicia said it'll be up on michaels.com on Monday. So if you want to go back and re-watch for the tips, I also included a handout. There's a PDF that is attached to this class that gives you some of those tips as well. So you have the full set of instructions that you can print off. But this is definitely an easy one. That's kind of the nice thing about it. With this, you don't have to use a thermometer like you do with other types of candy making. It's not quite as high temperatures. So it doesn't set up as fast as hard candy too. You don't have to pull it like you do with taffy. So it's a pretty easy one to do. And the candy is awesome. The finished product, you won't be sorry.
Nope.
All
Based on the smells, I don't think you can go wrong here. It
No.
smells so good.
Yeah, so is anybody going to be trying it this weekend? Let us know in the comments. I think I'm going to be eating the ones that I made
The ones
this
that were
morning.
made, yeah. And enjoying these ones too, I'm sure.
Yep. I might have to go and make a trip to see my nephews so I can load him up with some more candy. I'm sure his mom and dad will be happy with me about that.
They'll love it. It's good for them.
Yep.
And then someone's asking, so what is the recipe named again?
So it's you'll want to shop at Michael's for the sour or for the gummy mix. And then you'll need the super strength flavors. You can use any combination of fruit flavors, or you can use the same flavor for the entire batch. And since we're making them sour, we're going to be reuse the Tart Sour as well. All of these products are available at Michael's. And so the recipe, you don't have to buy other ingredients other than them. Everything that you need is in that pouch. The directions are on the back. And it's pretty simple. There's only a couple ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting close. I'm running out of syrup here, so I'm gonna need some to top off those bears. So
Should I just start?
go ahead and fill the rest of those, and I'm gonna go bring that tray of bears back. So just a couple of minutes in the refrigerator is all you really need to get those to firm up enough to pour the second flavor on. And I'm gonna move this tray up so we can see. And then we're just going to pour the opposite. So I'll hand you the strawberry one. So you can top that with lemonade. And then I'm going to put strawberry on top of this one. Just keep going. And a tip for bypassing any foam that you may have missed, you want to put the dropper all the way down at the bottom of the syrup, so you're bypassing any foam. And then when you're dispensing the syrup, you just want to push out enough. You don't want to push out all of it, because you'll see that that's blowing bubbles, and you're going to end up blowing bubbles on top of your candy. So stop dispensing before you get to the last bit of syrup that's in the tube. So just to the, the last ½ inch or so, and then you'll prevent yourself from blowing out those bubbles onto your candy. The candy will stay nice and smooth, and it won't have any foam on top of them. Yep, these are really nice and smooth looking. It'll be pretty candy.
Another really pretty candy that we did recently for the gummies was the mango Tajin.
Oh, yes. Yep, so you could even do all kinds of like mix on or like coatings for these. Tajin is another fan favorite. So if you do like a mango super strength and toss them in a little bit of Tajin afterwards, then that's a pretty good candy that I think everybody really liked those. Or even doing like a chili powder with watermelon, or adding spicy to something citrusy and fruity. Yes.
And I'm adding that recipe on that's on our website, as well as the blue raspberry gummy recipe that we have too. That is
that's
also
another
really
good one too.
popular. This one too, when you go to the link, has a video, so you can watch it too and see exactly what Heidi and Ansley are doing right now. You will find that in this video in the attached link below.
All right. Oh, I overfilled that one. That's all right. It'll all taste good. All right. So now that we have all of these filled, we are going to put these in the refrigerator for about an hour or two. We want to make sure that these firm up really nice before we take them out of the mold. It should be very easy to remove these from the mold. We didn't use any type of spray oil or nonstick coating in. It's because these are silicone molds. Nothing really sticks to them, so they're going to be easy to remove, and they're not going to have like any kind of residue from like hand spray. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. And TV magic, we have some that are already done, so we can show you how easy it should be to remove these. There is a couple of tips that we want you to know just to make your life a little bit easier. Get a piece of wax paper, because we are going to have to let these dry overnight to make sure that they are the perfect consistency. So just lay out a little bit of wax paper. And then I like to take just a little dab of coconut oil and put it on my fingertips. And this will make it, if these are sticky at all still, they'll just slide right off and be much easier to take out of the molds. And then you're getting a little bit of oil onto these gummies as well. So once you put it into your airtight container, they're not going to stick to each other. So you'll see those pop out really nice and easy, and you're just gonna lay them out on these onto your wax paper right here and let them dry overnight. And that'll make sure every side of these is the same consistency. If you left them in the molds overnight, the top is going to be much tougher because the top has been exposed to the air and the other sides have not been exposed to air. So you're not going to have a consistent texture throughout. So you want to make sure that you're not leaving them in the molds for too long. So just take everything out. It's super easy. I'm gonna grab, yep, they turned out nice. They've got that nice, you can see the differentiation between the lemon and the strawberry, and it tastes just like strawberry lemonade.
Let's see how close we can get.
Oh, wow, that looks gorgeous.
They look perfect.
And another great way of storing these, if you're finding that maybe your candies are a little sticky, you can use another little bit of coconut oil. And I always like to use a Ziploc bag. And I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit of coconut oil and rub it on the inside of the bag, just so you're getting a little bit of that residue in there. Oh, there we go. Getting a little bit of residue in that bag. And then I'm gonna put all of my candy in the Ziploc bag. Yep. Remove all of the air and then just kind of knead the bag a little bit. So you don't want the candy to be so coated with oil that they're greasy feeling. But what that's gonna do is just gonna give them a nice little film on there, and it's gonna prevent all of these from sticking to each other. So you can pull the candy apart. This is especially important with the gummy worms where everything's a little bit, they're longer and they're more flexible. You don't want these to get tangled up. You want to have a nice piece of candy that you can pull out of the bag and eat really easily. So that is gummy making. Now you're all candy pros, and I hope you guys all hop out to your local Michael's this weekend and pick up a gummy mix, some super strength flavors, and that Tart and Sour. Be sure to post your creations at Lorian Global or at Michael's stores with the hashtags Make It With Michael's and hashtag Michael's Classes. We want to see the interesting flavor combinations that you come up with, all the colors, different mold shapes that you use. We would love to see the creations that you come up with. So if you want to switch the camera to front facing, so we can say our goodbyes.
Yep, we'll say goodbye.
And hey,
So
ladies,
again, I'm
before
Heidi.
you say your goodbyes, I do
Hensley.
want to make a quick little note real quick. I know I put in the chat, if anyone who wants to save any of the links, if you are on a computer, you can go down there to the bottom of the chat field. Next to the smiley faces, you should see 3 dots, and you can click on that 3 dots and you will see Save Chat. So before they say their goodbyes, I would suggest clicking on that so that you can have all those links for later reference. If you're on a cell phone or mobile device, I'm not exactly for sure, but I do believe you can click on the more and find the Save Chat field as well. So definitely please do that so that you can go back and find whatever recipes or anything else the ladies have already discussed that may be in the chat. Okay, back over to you, Heidi.
Thank you. So I hope everybody enjoyed making gummies with us. We really enjoyed being here, and we look forward to hopefully doing some more classes with Michael's. Everybody loves candy, especially us.
Yes.
So I'm Heidi. Goodbye, and everybody, I'll let you say your goodbyes too.
I'm Ansley. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys. I'm Mandy, and have a great weekend and have fun making gummies.
Bye.
Bye.